Welcome back to a Fired Up Friday. It's Game Point Sports. I'm in Goodnight, and we got my man Sibo over here, man. How you doing today?
Man, better than good.
It's a Fired Up Friday, man.
Better than good, man. I appreciate being here with you today, man.
For
There's
sure.
a lot of stuff to talk about.
Appreciate you here, man.
Ooh-wee.
I mean, first of all, man, let's start off, man, with the shirt you got on.
Hey, yes, my man, Carl Robinson, man, doing his thing as always. This brother's been in the community, and not just him, but his apparel, his brand, and the culture that he's really trying to add with the apparel that he's been putting out. Living Decent. I mean, I got a couple pieces, but someone out there has really been supporting this man for a while. He's one of Montbello's finest when it comes to his innovation and his work, and he puts the quality into it, man. It's not something you wear once or twice and letters start falling off, man. My man out here and he working, man. Shout out to him. Shout out to Diamond. You know, all you all that's been really supporting this man and his apparel. So it's his birthday. I just want to wish him a happy birthday. I don't be saying CMB Day. It's just a happy birthday, man. You know.
Hey, happy birthday to the man.
Yeah,
I see the Living Decent all around the city, man. It's becoming a staple out here in Colorado. So shouts out to him and everybody else who do it, but special shouts out to Living Decent and all the Montbello MNLD type things.
I know that. Yeah, they out here partying somewhere. So somebody in here tag us where they gonna be at, man. I might have to get him a shot or something somewhere.
Yeah,
go ahead and tag him up.
And I know. I think his daughter may have like a drink.
Is she on the Kool-Aid?
Yeah, something like that.
I know his son is an up and coming model in the local area, man. He's he only but a couple shots away for he gonna be doing his own thing too, cause he's out there shining. I see him in his father's gear. They a good brand right there. So shout out to them and all the local entrepreneurs out there, especially in the t-shirt business. Shay Rico putting those prints together and all of them. It's a tough business, man, just in general because there's so much competition. Everybody got a t-shirt, everybody got business, but you know when you really see the ones who are staying dedicated to that brand and their brand and really putting it out there, where you start seeing it all around the city, that's really important. And I don't think that there's enough room for everybody. So, you know, I have something and I do it for myself, but you know, obviously everybody got their brand and we really appreciate it. It's good for the city. But keep putting quality in it. Stop with these iron-ons, charging people $40 for these iron-ons. I need you to really put your effort into, you know, whatever your brand and product is, because we need to be held to that standard. We don't just want to just throw out anything just to get a brand going. You know, you got to really be out there putting the quality behind your brand. And that's for everything, but including your apparel.
Yeah, for sure. It's all about the quality, man. You don't want nothing that's going to be 2 sizes smaller once you wash it, or, you know.
Yeah, you be having that Wish extra large where it be really like a small.
You like it and you want to support it, man, so you keep pulling it down a little bit. You try to make it work,
be all loose.
but it just don't work. So, hey, man.
He's doing his thing, man. I appreciate that, brother.
His name, Carl Robinson or something?
Carl Robinson.
Okay,
that's
for
right.
sure.
K-Roll, man. He doing his thing, man.
Hey, shouts out to him. Hey, I think it's still National Women's Month, or I know it's National Women's Day. Shout out to all the ladies. I should have had something on here, man, for the ladies. But
I mean, we appreciate the ladies, man. I mean, just in general, right? This is, I think there should be a shout out for them every time and all the time. So, we might have to start making a segment for them.
always,
Highlight the local women doing things and moving the needle out here, not just in the city, but for our culture. So, shout out to all the ladies out there.
Period, man. Shit, it's going down up in sports.
Listen, it's a whole lot. Down.
But first, we ready for the video? But first, you know what I'm saying? We got a funny video, man. Lighten up the day, man. Lighten up the day. Then we gonna get straight to it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Man, it's a little drug addict type thing going down. But hey, you gotta love it. Black couples rock.
And if anybody fuck with them, they fuck with me. Tell them who you are.
I'm nasty nice.
He nasty.
Never had an off day in my life. I take all your women plus your wife. I make you dance in my beat all your life. Now you mad.
That's your husband? Now you mad.
It's my woman, bro. It's my woman. This how we get down, man. He like filming me.
Hey, like I say, man, lighten it up real quick, man. Hey, that was a black couple, man. They doing their thing no matter what circumstances. She love her man, he love her. He said he a real player.
He said she with him shooting in the gym, huh?
Hey, he said he'll take your lady. He been doing this. He take your lady, your mama. Well, he said a few things. But let's get to the sports, man. We talking about NCAA free agency. I mean, wait, NBA free agency. My bad.
NFL free agency.
Oh shit, I'm twice my bad.
Hey, listen, there's so much to talk about. You've hit all of them because in the NCAA, the NBA, there's stuff going on all around. But I think right now the focus being in the NFL free agency and what's happened. I think the distraction is because your team, the Broncos, is in the AFC West, and so it's hard to think about anything else when you got all these movements happening in the AFC West right now.
Hey, it's going down. You see Devontae Adams, he on the screen. He on the screen right now. He moved to the Raiders. Chandler Jones went to the Raiders.
Woo!
Juju went to the KFC. I mean KC.
Yeah, it's KFC. They're supposed to be cooking. So we'll see.
Hey, and we got Russell Wilson here. Let Russ cook. We got Randy Gregory here from Dallas.
So let's talk about it because, I mean, that's on paper right now. We talked about last week what was on paper, but let's talk about for you as a fan and what the AFC West look like. Who takes the AFC West this year? Let me hear you. This is you. This is your,
as a fan.
Don't just say Bronco, because I be trying to talk to dudes who be Bronco fans. And they don't be hearing nothing. They just be like, yeah, know what, Bronco game. I'm saying you are very... you articulate it well when you talk about, what it really looks like out here. So I really appreciate your opinion. What does it look like for the AFC West? Who takes that division and why? Who got better?
I don't want to be a homer, but I'm gonna talk about every team, and then the Chargers have definitely got a lot better.
Okay, all right.
The Chargers have gotten better with who they had the acquisition of Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack. Okay, so they done beefed it up a little bit in the defensive end. So with the what is that in the nickel?
He's like a defensive end, outside linebacker.
Okay,
he's the pass rushing specialist.
They didn't need a lot of pieces, right?
Nah.
So I mean they're competitive.
They're still a team with the youngest quarterback of the bunch, who has to learn how to win these games. They still were victim of losing close games. Even when Anthony Lynn was there, they were always losing close games. So they gotta find a way to win more often than not. So I'm gonna go with the Chargers 4.
Okay, Chargers 4.
I'm gonna go with the Raiders 3rd.
Wildin', but I'll keep going with you. Go ahead.
I'm with Raiders 3rd. They got a new coach.
Yeah.
Derek Carr's a good but not great quarterback. You got Devontae Adams over there. You got Chandler Jones over there. I'm just not sold on Derek Carr.
So, I mean, you're basically saying at this point, okay, so no, let's just keep going. I don't want to know. Keep going. Are you doing fine? So that's 3. So,
I mean,
so
and,
it's 2.
And I got to give props to the Raiders because the Raiders had a coaching change in the middle of the year last year and still made it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I kind of think they slighted that coach and didn't give him his just due and give him his chance to run his team and make it be his team. Like he did some good things out there. So shouts out to the special team coach.
So you got them in the 3rd. Second,
I'm gonna go.
It's tricky. What you
Second, I'm gonna go with the Broncos.
Okay.
Another young team that needs to learn how to win, but they have a player in Russell Wilson who knows how to win, is who's gonna will this team to win and show these young kids how to win. So I got the Broncos second, and then I got the Chiefs first. I mean,
okay. So, do the Broncos sweep any team in that division?
I don't think there'd be no sweep by any team this year.
So you saying everybody's splitting?
Everybody's splitting.
So, but I do feel like for there to be a number 1 team in the AFC, I mean, or any of the divisions, but I mean, definitely for the AFC West, since it's a topic of discussion, somebody got to sweep somebody. I think KC is got right. They got number 1 and 2 got to sweep somebody. Broncos might be able to sweep somebody.
I don't know if we're gonna be sweeping nobody.
But I also don't think. I will say this: I don't think right now, and shout out to what you picked as the 4-3-2-1. I think the Broncos may be. Well, let's talk about it. I think 4 right now may have to. It's going to come down to learning and showing that they can win. And obviously, right now, the Chargers have had some issues with being able to show that they can win big games. But I also do think that they have something that is starting to play in their favor. Is they're starting to get to understand each other and gel. And I think that's a lot of times what you need to understand how to win these big games.
Yeah. I mean, so you give me your rundown of the AFC West real quick.
I will say. I don't see Kansas City being the top of that division this year.
Oh,
I don't. I think potentially you might be looking at maybe, as I see it, I think San Diego, unfortunately, they're going to have to show something. They might be 4th. I think with being able to show what Wilson can do, I think they may end up being 3rd. The Broncos, and then I see maybe Kansas City 2nd. Because, I mean, if we think about it, KC lost a lot of games early in the season with healthy players.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they just dominated the AFC West.
Oh, no.
Yeah, right. And so I think, I could see KC being 2, and I think maybe this might be the go-ahead for the Raiders to be number 1 in that division coming out of it. This is the part for a lot of people, so before y'all start chiming in and being like, he's a Bronco hater and da-da-da-da-da, I have no affiliation with the Raiders. And pretty much so, if there's any team in the AFC West that I like, I would probably say the Broncos over any of them. I enjoy, going to a good Broncos game and really kind of seeing that. I'm not on that fanatic level. Some of y'all be wilding, like relax. Some of y'all be wilding. But I will say that even if I name those 4-3-2-1, I think the AFC West is going to be giving the rest of the league hell. And I think if they give the rest of the league hell, you could still get 2 teams out of the AFC West in the playoffs. Easy.
Oh, definitely.
Easy.
Definitely.
1 for sure, but 2 in there and a possible on the 3rd. So I think that even though, there might be some, jockeying in the AFC West, I truly still believe they're going to be giving the rest of the NFL hell because, like we were just talking about off the air, there hasn't been as many moves inside of the NFL outside of the AFC West. It seems like everybody just is all eyes on the AFC West right now.
Oh, they stacking it. They stacking it packing, man. They doing their thing right now. It's if you ain't making no moves in the West, then that means you're not trying to compete.
Talk about this though, Devontae Adams. Did he make Aaron Rodgers better, or did Aaron Rodgers make him better?
Quarterback always makes the receiver better.
Okay, so do we see a loss of production from Devontae going to the Raiders?
Oh, we're going to see.
And the reason why I'm asking that is because then my next question is, do we see a loss of production from Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay?
No.
That was his guy, though.
No, it doesn't matter. A great quarterback always makes his receivers better.
What if they got COVID? No, I don't answer that.
I mean,
answer that. Because he ain't taking that shot. I don't care what y'all are.
A great quarterback always makes his receivers better.
So answer me this then. Why has Aaron Rodgers failed to be able to show that in the playoff opportunity then? Because he's calling him great, right? And I'm not saying that he's horrible. Well, I'm not, first, before we even get into that. I'm just saying, when does he show up in the playoffs, and what's been preventing him from being successful in the playoffs? Because a lot of what I've seen over the last couple of years with Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, this has been him making poor decisions as a quarterback. It wasn't just like they got out coached. This is literally him making bad reads, bad decisions. So,
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. I mean, he's just not a. I mean, he's a champion, one-time champion.
He's not a consistent playoff quarterback.
He's not a perennial playoff winner.
But I mean, he keeps getting these contracts, man. These are some pretty outstanding contracts.
When you're the regular season champ, when you're the regular season MVP twice in a row, you're gonna get that money.
Fair.
Just in hopes that you're gonna be able to take him over the top.
Fair.
But I mean, I'm not. If I see any one of those two taking a slight and step back, it's going to be Devontae Adams, because you got to have a quarterback to get you the ball. We've seen receivers be open all day, but if you don't have a quarterback,
let's talk about that then. That's his quarterback from college. So let's talk about it. For Fresno State. Devontae Adams and Derek Carr played together in college. They both put each other in the league. So you might be looking at an opportunity where him being able to go back and play for the quarterback that got him into the league, and him having a receiver that really put him in the league. Because if you look at their stats, in college, they was outstanding between the two of them. And it was really Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, Derek Carr, Devontae Adams. So you might be looking at something where he has
that conference they played in was lackluster.
We're in the
NBA. We're in the NFL, man. You're playing against top tier guys every week. You're coming to the AFC West, where some of these defenses are no joke. So I want to see what he's going to do without this Aaron, because Aaron Rodgers is one of those quarterbacks that can put the ball right there. He's going to get it there. We got a few comments. Shouts out to all the people that's commenting. TJ says, "What's good from Dallas?" Daniel Villaferte says, "If Mahomes can stay focused, they are dangerous. But being biased, the Broncos back on top of the AFC." Ariane16 says, "Chiefs on top." Daniel Villaferte says, "We paid and gave up a lot to be back on top." KC2, this is his 4. KC2, Raiders 3, Chargers 4. Broncos 1. KC2, Raiders 3, Chargers 4.
Listen, as much as we keep, and this is just, I've noticed that, we are all kind of putting San Diego at the bottom of our list, like, hey, they don't lose. They really have a very talented football team. Echo's going nuts. They got receivers, Allen. They got, what's his name? Johnson. Wasn't it Jackson? Johnson? The 81, what's his name?
They got 2.
He's really coming into his own. That quarterback, that young Ebert, is not for games, man. He's not a plaything. It will be very interesting to see, and I think really it's going to really determine who really. It's all eyes is going to be on the AFC West. I mean, look, I don't care if you watch football, you watch the AFC West.
Oh, you gonna watch them this year? Keenan Allen, Mike Williams.
Where you got a bunch of people over there. I mean, it's a good, solid team. And if they've been able to beef up their defense, they have a solid run game. If they can, what they've been able to really do and show is that they can establish the pass game and really, because the run hasn't been the issue, but if they can establish that pass game early, not just throw a bunch of bombs, they're a tougher team than I think people give them credit for. And I do like some of the moves that, the Raiders have made. And I like some of the moves that the Broncos have made. But I don't necessarily think that any one of those, you could put your money on any one of these 4 teams right now to take the division, and you couldn't necessarily be wrong.
You're right. You could probably put your money, put $2 down that three AFC West teams gonna get in the playoffs, and you might hit a lick. Daniel Filiferte says the comeback kid is wearing off. I believe he's talking about Mahomes.
I mean, I would say if there's anybody who has the most to prove is the question that I'm going to pose, and then I'm going to answer my own question. But I think who has the most to prove is probably going to have to be KC, because Cincinnati exposed them. I mean, twice. And I think it's going to get to a place in space right now where we're going to have to see Mahomes play smart football and not just that gunslinger type of what I'm assuming that's what he was making mention to. It's just not, let me sidearm it, let me do the no-look pass, let me just do things that are outside of the scheme of what I would believe to be a low-risk offense.
Well, I mean,
play ball.
He kind of did that, though. Last year, when they got off to that slow start, they had to learn how to methodically go down the field, and they started doing that towards the end of the year.
They won some close games. I mean, like, let's be honest, KC, it was one where it was like he had led the cheetah on one where he had broken, came up on a wheel route, and I mean it was just like that close, and he had just the fingertips took off, and I mean this is like the difference of winning and losing the game. There's another one too that go into overtime, and you had Kelsey, we had that play that broke and he got out there. These are very tight games, and it could have gone either way.
Even their last playoff win was they got the ball with 14 seconds left and drove down the field and scored a field goal or whatever it was.
It's just, again, I think that they are really, 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 if we're talking about any team right now, because, I mean, what does San Diego got to lose? What do the Raiders got to lose? What do the Broncos got to lose? Well, I mean, obviously all the draft picks and the first rounds and the second rounds and the three players. But ultimately, it wasn't like last year they were competing for a Super Bowl, but I think right now people are really interested in seeing if Mahomes is going to really be that player that they have him touted as, or is he going to start to, kind of be, maybe even potentially like the Aaron Rodgers of the group. Get a Super Bowl, and then he's just a really good regular season quarterback.
He definitely could. He definitely could be. He definitely could be. He has faltered in these last two playoffs.
It's hard to win.
I mean, AFC West is going to be tough. It's going to be one to watch. It's going to remind me of those old NFC East battles when they used to have four good teams playing. When you had Washington, Giants, Eagles, and Dallas all good at one time. So it's going to be definitely a throwback to that type of division, or even the AFC North as of late that's been good. Even the NFC West.
Speaking of the NFC East, does Carson Wentz make the Commanders better?
I don't think Carson Wentz makes anybody better.
Well, some people would argue with that, and they said that he did a lot in Indianapolis.
They came up short in a big game.
I personally, as an Eagles fan, I would, say that Carson Wentz holds the ball too long, and that doesn't work in NFL.
It doesn't work in the league.
That doesn't work
in the league. I've seen Teddy Bridgewater and a host of other quarterbacks do it since Peyton Manning.
If you hold the ball too long in this NFL, you're going to get hurt or you're going to turn the ball over. That's just what it is. Everybody too fast and they hit too hard.
Shoot, let's talk about the big news, though. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Deshaun Watson. Let's talk
AFC North.
Yeah, AFC North.
So does that put Cleveland on top of the AFC North? With just that trade alone?
I would have to go with Cincinnati still.
Yeah.
I mean, the battle for Ohio is going to be great this year.
Yeah, but we still got to figure out, and you brought up a good point, is he going to be able to play all of these NFL games? And if he's going to be suspended, how many games does he get to play? Because that's going to play a factor in how much he can impact, what they're going to do for the AFC North.
The standard for sexual assault right now has been 6 games. So, yeah, Big Ben got hit with 6. And I believe
Is there a standard in sexual?
I mean, the standard.
where we at now?
The standard. The standard.
Is it like above the belly button is like 4 games, and below the belly button is 6 games?
I think it's just a standard.
What is that? I know there's got to be some kind of like below the belly button. Got to be more games than above the belly button.
And you're talking about a team that has brought on a few players in Cleveland who were troubled. You got Hunt, who came from doing this thing. So
it was that spin kick. Yeah, like Kareem Hunt had that spin kick, got him off the Kansas City. But, ultimately, he's had a pretty clean record. You know what I'm saying? I think it was that spin kick on that Caucasian young woman. You can't spin kick, Caucasian women. That always cost you. But I think overall, I think if there was anybody troubled, it's Baker Mayfield. And I have some questions and concerns. Where is Baker Mayfield going? Is he out the league?
Oh, no, he's not out the league.
Who would take Baker Mayfield right now? And I'm not saying that they can't use him. Maybe I just need to get a better understanding of where his value is right now. Where does a Baker Mayfield go?
Baker Mayfield right now preferring to go to the Colts.
I can see that. Or Pittsburgh? No, Pittsburgh got
they got Trubisky.
They got Trubisky. So yeah, no. What about Houston?
Houston don't want him. They could have had a chance to get him right now. They could have made the trade. Let's talk about the trade for Deshaun Watson. 3 first rounds and I think a 3rd and 5th. You could have threw Baker Mayfield in there. They didn't.
Talk about that contract though. You have some information on that. Is that what did he just get?
$230 million guaranteed.
Ooh-wee.
The highest ever guaranteed salary for an NFL player.
All of it's guaranteed.
All of it's guaranteed.
Somebody chime in on that. If y'all got some more information on this contract, and there might be some booty touching stipulations. He can't touch a booty though. Like he got to be above the belly button.
He can't do nothing.
No, he got to be above the belly button. He got to have something in there. They ain't gonna just be like.
They gonna have the masseuses with camera. You don't have to, when you be in there, it's gonna be a third party in there at all times.
Oh damn! Does he have to have like a man masseuse?
I don't know what he's gonna have to do, but $230 million
guaranteed.
Guaranteed. You can make it happen. And the way they structured this deal is $1 million. The first year, which is this coming year,
okay,
he's getting paid $1 million base salary. So with them, Deshaun Watson and Cleveland Browns anticipating that he's gonna sit out some games. They made it so where he's gonna barely miss any money. It'll be $50,000 a game.
And then he get that nugget going in the season too.
Yeah, the season after he gets paid.
Second year of his contract.
So it's basically a 4-year, $229 million contract.
Hey, listen, who is his agent?
After he just got paid from...
Who is his agent? Because I'll sit out a year too, and I'll touch below the belly button if I can get $230 guaranteed.
Hey, $230.
I'm touching below the belly button.
And the crazy thing, I don't think you
below the belly button.
I don't think you want to do that.
What, for $230 guaranteed?
Everybody ain't getting it.
Yeah,
everybody ain't getting it. Everybody ain't Deshaun.
If I'm nice with it, like if I'm Deshaun nice, I'm touching below the belly button, man, for the $230.
Allegedly, man. That's what you told me.
Allegedly, for sure. I'm allegedly touching below the belly button.
So $230 million, the highest guaranteed money for an NFL player ever. Just eclipsed Aaron Rodgers. He had the $150 million. He eclipsed him by $80 million.
So hold on, Aaron Rodgers, $150 is guaranteed?
150 of his money is guaranteed. 150 million of his is guaranteed. So before we go too far into these NFL contracts, is the NFL starting to make a shift to where there's going to be guaranteed money?
Well, I mean, at this point, clearly that's what it looks like because this is what the contracts look like. So right now, this is definitely an agent-ran league because they're able to shop these guys around, man. I mean, we're clearly starting to see in this era of NFL that they're saying the players are more valuable than the game, and they're showing that by guaranteed money. And let's be honest, up till about 5 years ago, the NFL had the worst contracts in all of professional sports, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So when they're starting to understand that, hey, we don't even have the number of games that the NFL, I mean the NBA has, or that baseball has. We have, what is it, 18 games? What is the regular season?
What, 17?
17 games. And then how many of those is home games? 8, 9?
Depends, 8 or 9.
Yeah, so you got 8 or 9 games. It is in the best interest to have these people suited up and playing football for these 8 or 9 home games in this jersey sales and the stadium numbers, or at least the contracts for the television stations, so that we got to protect the players, or at least have the players valued so that they are going to show up and perform. You can't have one go out there, blow their whole, like, Cass was getting knocked out 5 years ago. He was out of there.
You couldn't go across the middle?
Yeah, he's getting, and I mean, we've seen some of the damage of that. When you have some of these movies, you've had some of the documentaries, they've really gone behind the sports and shown that, like, it is not, to be an NFL player, the average lifespan of them is like anywhere between like 3 and 5 years, and without guaranteed contracts, it takes away from the quality of the game.
Oh, definitely.
You can't have Tom Brady's, Aaron Rodgers, these marquee players, getting broke up, and concussed. We already have now COVID now that's playing a factor. They can't really afford it, so I have to believe this is and had to be the new wave of the NFL, is that they got to start guaranteeing these contracts. They make too much money not to.
Hey, Adams, 5 years, 41 million, become the highest paid receiver.
He deserves it. I mean, outside of your boy for Hopkins for Arizona, I don't really know if there's a better receiver. And I think as good as Hopkins would be, and he's shown it over several different quarterbacks over several different years. But I think when it comes to just the money ball, Adams is that guy.
He is that guy.
And remember, Adams is going back to play with his quarterback from Fresno State, Derek Carr, who put him in the league, and he put him in the league because both of them was piggybacking off each other all throughout college. Now, you don't respect their conference. I get that. But I think ultimately they put up enough on highlights that it got him to the league.
Definitely
outside of course, Derek's brother.
I was gonna say his brother was a big help in that.
I mean, but they still gotta have game film on him, and it looked like both of those two was.
He looks better. He's definitely better than his brother. His brother came into a terrible situation.
Yeah, that's all it was.
He ain't been the same.
Yeah,
he ain't been right since. All right, so I got a question for you. What's the biggest surprise in the NFL free agency so far for you?
That they gave Von Miller a 6-year contract, $120 million for 54 guaranteed over in Buffalo. I would not say at 32, 33 years old that they were going to give or net him that level of contract. But I would definitely say that if there was a surprise, because I don't even necessarily think even Cleveland getting Deshaun Watson was the biggest surprise, because he had to go somewhere. And honestly, the city, the front office showed that they just may have some concerns with Baker Mayfield. Mm-hmm. But I would not assume that Von Miller was going to get that.
Yeah, that's what you could do when you have a late season push in the playoffs. And
who was your biggest surprise in free agency?
My biggest surprise in free agency is not Deshaun Watson going to Cleveland.
Okay,
it's a $230 million guarantee from a guy who can be facing a suspension, or it could be a hefty suspension.
That's gangster.
He definitely has enough money to. Definitely about to get enough money to go ahead and pay him off and get this out the way.
Yeah, start going. Hey man, Deshaun, shout out to you, Deshaun, man. But you're gonna start going above the belly button, man. Straight up.
Hey man, go into a masseuse with. Don't go into a masseuse without a third party there.
Hey, Robert Kraft went in there. They wasn't pressing him. He was getting happy endings.
Well, Robert Kraft came in there with the intentions of knowing what everybody knew the intentions.
I think if he had 22 people saying that he was that,
I don't
he
think
went
these
below the belly
ladies
button.
knew the intentions.
If it's not, listen, they talk. It's like
He's like, yeah, come over here wearing this and wearing that.
Man, it's like working at fast food or as a waitress. You know that table and that patron who always coming there giving you a hard time. If he the one, that's pulling the kibosh out, you gonna talk. You gonna be like, man, you know Deshaun Watson, yeah, he done pulled the kibosh out, man. Hit me dead in the forehead with it, man, below the belly button. Or whatever. You be like, you gonna talk. So if you had 22 of them, now what I have concerns with is that they all waited till he said he was trying to get out of Houston. Now remembered everything.
That puts something on it.
It was forgetful when he was there, but as soon as he was going to pill out, they remembered everything.
That puts something on it. All right. So who's the next NFL quarterback the next domino to fall?
What you mean?
Who you think is it Baker Mayfield to the Colts? Is it Jameis Winston? Is it who you think's the next one to sign?
Well, first off, I really do like Jameis Winston. I think the kid is all right with me, man. I mean, is he a gunslinger? Sure. But, you know, you like your chances with him when he's in there and healthy. And, I mean, is he kind of corny? He's like, I'm going to tell you what I think about Jameis Winston. He's like Nick Cannon. He's like the Nick Cannon of personalities in the NFL. Like, he do all the corny stuff, but he get the job done. So I think he still has a job in New Orleans.
I think he does too. I mean,
I think you probably hit it on the head by saying now that Tom Brady is back again for the first time. I still think Baker Mayfield going to the Colts is a good look. That might have been one of the most sound call-outs that we've had tonight. I mean, that was a nice call. Where else would he go? And he's definitely a decent quarterback.
He's all right.
I mean, what you think about with the Indianapolis? They're not looking for Aaron Rodgers. That Jonathan Taylor is something special, boy.
You're talking about the team in Indianapolis who had the most Pro Bowlers last year. Why couldn't Carson Wentz do nothing with them?
I mean, again, I completely believe he makes poor decisions and he holds the ball too long. And part of that is making poor decisions. But I also don't think with, let's say, Baker Mayfield going to the Colts, it makes that team worse.
It doesn't make them worse.
Yeah, and I mean,
it doesn't make them significant.
He knows how to play in a game with a strong run strategy or where they're a run first type of team, and they really he understands that. He's seen that with Chubb and Hunt.
And Houston didn't even want Baker Mayfield, so I'm not even on the Baker Mayfield train. Man,
because Houston don't want him.
Houston don't have a quarterback, and they didn't want him.
I mean, but what does Houston... listen, shout out to Houston first off. So all my people from Houston, look, I'm not talking about the city itself. I love Houston. I try to go as much as possible. But I'm talking about their football team. They have not shown me that they have a commitment to winning. And ever since they let Hopkins go, I've been on the fence about what their commitment for winning is. You're going to have to show me at this point. Who do y'all want? Like, who have they paid? Like, there's a series of... Who's the running back that they had over there that ended up retiring out the league? That special kid, man.
He wasn't... I mean...
He was special. But I'm saying,
he fell apart, though.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. I've yet to see Houston make marquee moves that says that they're trying to get to the next level.
They tried to pay Deshaun, and he got up out of there.
Nah, that ain't it. Because when everybody started leaving, Deshaun's like, this ain't it, man. Y'all got to show me y'all trying to do something. And they still have yet to do that. And so I don't believe
they were in a bad situation with their previous coach. Now I think Houston is about a wrap. They're going to be cellar dwellers. The new version of the Cleveland Browns, like back in the early 2000s or whatever.
The Jets currently.
Yeah, the Jets. Or the Broncos, actually. That's what the Broncos are like right now. Pretty bad.
Nah, the Broncos is doing all right, man. Shout out to the Broncos, man. If any of y'all tap into it, let us know that y'all follow the show. We definitely are trying to, get you all, not just as a Bronco, but the Bronco fans, your input on what's going on for the season and what you all think, they can add as value to the AFC West. But,
like, share, comment, retweet, and do it all again. We gonna move on to this tourney real quick, man. Let's move on to this NCAA tourney. You got St. Peter's beat Kentucky. You got which could be maybe a top 10 upset of all time.
Kentucky and Kansas will lose in the first round on you every now and then. They'll do that. Kansas more than Kentucky, And y'all know what I'm talking about. Any of y'all Kansas fans, you know what I'm talking about. Kansas will go out in the first round on something weird. But Kentucky every now and then will kind of get you upset here and there by just not coming in focus. And I blame it, especially for Kentucky, is that they have cats in and out. Like, you got a marquee player for for Kentucky that's, a highly touted rookie or a freshman, and then he leaves after their first year. So they're always dealing with new recruits. Yeah, it's hard to get somebody to stay all 4 years in Kentucky.
Yeah, and then you're playing with teams who have 4 year, who have players.
4 year seniors.
Yeah, play
right.
together.
Yeah, they have a bunch of. So when you have these lower seeded teams that have seniors, and then you just have these highly touted, freshmen that come in for some of these bigger teams, it does lead for a lot of upset opportunities. And if I'm not mistaken, there was something going on with Chattanooga or something before we started up.
Chattanooga.
Yeah, there might be another upset alert. Upset alert.
Upset alert. UConn. Let's talk about UConn. Losing to New Mexico State, a 5-12. That's one of those that are always. That's one of those matchups I believe that always have an upset.
And New Mexico State has been, giving teams the blues in the first and second round for the last 5-10 years. If any of you guys been following the tournament, New Mexico State's been they like that. They like that. What's that? Florida Central. That Florida. Yeah. And one of the teams that's just like that, man. They just, if you come in playing, not your best basketball, you're gonna lose. And the player, like we just talked about, the players stay. When you go to those schools, they stay. And so you're usually playing with upperclassmen who are coming in there to really shake some things up. And I really haven't heard a lot about UConn this year. So I think they might have got some big wins to get them seated higher. But they out of here. And that brings us to our next segue. CSU. Local team CSU. Shout out to everybody who either went to or has people that they know or related to that went to CSU. They got scraped. They got scraped, and they were the higher seeded team. Where were they ranked?
I believe that was
Where were they seeded?
Was that a 11? Here, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah,
I was kind of upset.
CU should have got in anyway. I'm putting that out there. CU should have got in first and foremost. I'm always going to be a Buff for life because the Buffs was the only thing in this state that did something before the Broncos, before the Avalanche. If y'all really know y'all history, CU Buffs is what literally drove the economy for Colorado, man. Period, point blank. When it came to athletics, they was the only ones who was getting it done. They was national champions, Chauncey, and they was making moves, and have been. Yeah, Dalen Kuntz, I see you. Keep doing your thing.
That was a 6-11 matchup. I just think the Big Ten and the Mountain West, it's just two different conferences, and you could just see the talent. You could just see the difference. But CSU, they're returning everybody. Everybody's coming back. So hopefully CSU has another run, and next year they know what to do once they get to the big game.
So who wins it this year? Are you putting out a prediction?
I got Baylor.
You got Baylor.
Yeah.
How you feel about the Zags?
They don't win the big game. They don't win the big game, or haven't they lost it the last couple years or something?
Yeah, I mean they've had some. I mean they always keep a strong team though, and they got that Chet Holmgren, I think his name, the 7. He the one that crossed over Seth Curry when Seth came to his school when he was in high school. Yeah. He crossed him over, a little 7-foot dude crossed him over and then bammed on him. Chet Holmgren's going to be something special. If he stays with the Zags for, a season or two to really kind of hone in on his game, bulk up, he's going to be something special, especially going into the NBA. But, they have a good shot, the Zags, but I'm throwing something out there. I'm going to throw something out there, 17,000 to 1. I'm going to say Virginia Tech. There you go.
You getting the money, huh?
Man, look, $5 to get you 1,000.
You getting the money. Chattanooga, they lost by 1 point. I forgot who they were playing, but they lost 1 point. So obviously, a last-second shot.
Yeah, I think that was an upset alert out there.
Are you finding yourself like more into the tournament or watching what's going on in this NFL free agency?
Well, I mean, I will say this. I mean, the first round of the tournament may not have had my full attention because of just they happened to fall on the day where, the open days of NFL free agency. But, going into this weekend and really moving forward, ain't a whole lot else popping right now. I'm definitely going to be, caught up in the tournament, have a couple good games, check on them, see what's going on.
So
I'm with that.
You got V-Tech when you got V-Tech.
Man, look, I mess around, say that out loud, they lose, their first game. But I'm just saying, you got to throw an upset in there every now and then. You got to, if you know anything about your bracket, they said after the first night, there was only out of 17 million or something crazy like that brackets that they had, only 700 and something of them were still perfect after the first day.
Oh, mine busted.
Yeah, so, it's like you just got to throw something this ridiculous in there. Put 5 on one of them teams that have no reason. And, I mean, not to mention, Virginia Tech won their conference going into the tournament, and they beat Duke to do it. So it's like, so it's not like, that they haven't at least shown that they can beat, talented teams. I just think, you got to throw one of those in there. You got maybe even 2 or 3 of them. Just throw something in there that you can either, ride through on your bracket, or at least if you threw like a little $5, $10 on it, like I said, I think $5 will get you like $900 or $1,000.
I'll take it. I love this new betting legal thing. Before we get to the NBA real quick, let's talk. Give a congratulations to Jordan Reed, Colorado High School
Shout out
basketball
Jordan.
Player of the Year up in Manual.
Shout out Mr. Reed and his family and the people who have been supporting him here locally in the city. I've actually seen a lot of support, through social media for him. I don't see a lot of, other resources kind of really picking him up and and putting him in here. We might need to get him on the show.
We got to reach out to him, man. Try to get him
so
on
if
here
anybody,
next
his
week.
friends, family, or people close to him, can get him, in contact with, if not even our show. Just, again, I think it's important we start highlighting some of the young talent out here. I mean, I think he was averaging up to like 28, 29 points. The kid was doing some special things, man. So shout out to Mr. Reed and his family and his team, for really, doing what he need to do. Dalen is out there. Dalen Coons was out there working too. I forgot where he's at right now, so I don't mess it up. Dalen, if it's his people, I apologize. My brother coached you for a while. I appreciate you, young man. Was he at Wyoming? I want to say.
Is that where he's at?
I want to say, but Dalen, I don't mean that by you've always been special, man. Shout out to Dalen Coons.
Shouts out to all the Colorado players doing it. Shouts out to I believe her name is it Phoebe, or what's the girl for Stanford, the one that dunked?
Yeah, I see. Listen, I will say this: if we're speaking of female basketball talent, you know who I want to talk about. Oh, Brittany Griner again. What's going on with that?
Back on Brittany, huh?
I can't help it, man. What she's, they got this one. I think they pushed it out till May 18th or something before they, they gonna even. She's
out there in a foreign prison. I'm pretty sure any jail out here is like the Ritz-Carlton compared to what she's facing right now out there.
I don't know. I think Brittany is. I think she do. I mean, nobody want to be in jail. But I don't think nobody want to be in jail with a pissed off Brittany Griner either. I don't think she got solid shoulders, man. She all right in there.
Well, I mean, I know she's all right per se, but I'm just saying, like, she's in there, man. She's probably on the top bunk and her legs is touching the ground. Like,
yeah, I definitely ain't. No, that's
accommodations are not.
That's what I'm saying. She gonna start being like, she gonna start getting antisocial. Like Brittany, after a couple weeks, is probably not gonna be your favorite bunkmate, man. She ain't gonna be your celly.
Man, she might.
She's not gonna be your favorite celly.
So she's probably out there. She probably has pick of the litter out there. Even though
she's out there snatching goulash bowls and cornbread from them. They don't want no smoke with that with Brittany.
Yeah, you just give her your cornbread.
Man, run the cornbread.
I mean, I don't know, man. Something has to be done, man. I mean, she's been in jail like for the first 2-3 weeks. Russia kept it silent.
Yeah.
Then they extended or whatever they would extend the court date until May. This is real serious business. It could be 10 years. Up to 10 years she can get out there for trying to bring vapes, cartridges,
oil
into into Russia. I mean, come on, man. You got $1 million salary out there. Why don't you find oil out there?
Well, I will say this, I don't know that, I think, it's a learning lesson. I think when we start traveling abroad, I think a lot of us have to start understanding that we are not in America's rule or dictatorship once we leave and get on that plane. But I also think and understand that, she's out there playing for a team that pays not just her, but she is basically like the, almost what would be considered like the Michael Jordan or like of female basketball. So, they are paying her a significant amount of money out there. Like, I think some of the WNBA players who are playing for some of those Russian teams are like making like 4 times their salary over there than they do for the WNBA. So these are, Russian czars, billionaires who are sponsoring these teams. And I think, for them, it'd be in the best interest that you have one of the greatest female players ever, that played for you, that your team and your fans support, and these little Russian girls wear her jersey, that you are doing something to support her while she's, where she's at. I mean, who knows? She could be sitting up somewhere, she could be having like a Serta, sleep number bed. She could probably be on something chill that we don't know about, man. She could be in filet mignon.
Doubt it. I doubt it.
I mean, we don't know nothing about no Russia jails. I mean, I hear we have to be a little bit more political, but we clearly know a lot of other countries, they don't be like that. They could have something set up for her, like, Brittany, you come with us. Bring her over to the little special room. Let her get some
special room is what messed up.
Listen.
That special room there.
Look, do you see Brittany, like her?
Brittany is not getting any preferential treatment out there.
You don't think?
No.
I think they take care of her out there.
First of all, Russians are not too kind to blacks. Second of all,
I mean, they paying us. Why wouldn't they be?
Hey, when you making money off of them, when you making money, okay, you'll pay them. That don't mean you like them.
That's of course that's what it means. Like they don't like. I don't think maybe there are certain issues that our Caucasian brothers and sisters out here in the States don't maybe appreciate everything that the Black American culture does, but they pick their ones. They pick their ones, and they be their favorite.
But that don't mean they like her.
And I'm just saying they paying her. You like what you pay for, and I think at the end of the day,
you like what's gonna make you more money.
And I think having a Brittany Griner on your Russian team as a czar when you go to Russia, that's the ticket out there. They ain't gonna get to see no LeBron James out there. They get Brittany.
That's fine and dandy, but
you gotta pay her.
Yeah, she getting paid, but that don't mean she's.
Man, somebody done slid her a sandwich. Look, shout out to anybody that slid Brittany a sandwich.
How come she couldn't get no cartridges? That's the problem.
She probably got one now. They probably slid her a little young cartridge.
They probably let her keep them.
She got like a little young brownie in there. She probably got a little sandwich in there, man. They got Brittany. She ain't. I'm just saying she gonna come back and talk about it, but watch, she gonna be something off to the side where she gonna be like, yeah, my time there was tough. But, off to the side, I did have that little young sandwich, or, they put me up in a bed, because of my height and da-da-da-da-da. I got to believe that they like who they like.
It's about to be a story. It's about to be a movie.
Listen, every time a black entertainer goes to the Middle East, they go to Europe, they get paid 5 times what they make in the States. Those are the people they take care of. I remember Lil Wayne had a story. He said, man, he went out somewhere and they said they need to check his bag at the airport. And the princess sent him out, came and got him to perform somewhere. And he said the guy was so offended that they even slowed him down at the airport. He said, what kind of car you like? What do you want? And he said, man, I like this little something like that. He said, I have it waiting for you. He said he got done with the concert. He flew back home. The vehicle was waiting for him.
I heard that story.
They like who they like.
Yeah, but that's
Look, at the end of the day, this is where these people go. You don't think in a place like Russia, we ain't touring in Russia. We ain't bringing no concerts, no comedy shows. We ain't bringing out no real athletes out there consistently. So when you get a chance to get one, they like who they like. And I'm just saying.
I mean, they may like Brittany, but
I'm not. Nah, hopefully she ain't somewhere, where they over there giving her a hard time.
I think she's getting tormented right now, and she's like.
But who want war with her? Nobody want war with her.
It's not the people. It's the guards and all that.
They don't want no smoke. Ain't nobody built like. There's only but 2 or 3 people in the world built like Brittany Griner. And I don't think they all guards in a Russian prison she had.
2 or 3 women.
Women, exactly.
But there's not all women guards in the prison.
I think Brittany will slide a grown man.
She will. I don't think she will. But
I think, and then she in there upset. So if she's in the conditions that you talking about, like I think she could slide one of them dudes, man.
Man, They be having Navy SEALs and all kind of people in check and under control in
I don't
places.
see that. I think they ain't did enough when they went into Ukraine. We ain't gonna get into that on this particular week. We're gonna let them live, but
yeah, I already told us we don't know nothing about
they over there throwing. You know, they getting
Victor Riviere says Tom Brady is back. Brady is back for sure.
Brady's back, but he never left because he never said he was retiring.
I guess he never said it, but
He never said he was retiring officially.
but it came out. But I mean, let's get into it real quick, the NBA, and then we're gonna get into a subject in our little second half or whatever. So let's talk about the NBA. We talk about what's going on. I'm still riding with Jokic for the MVP. You got Embiid, Giannis. Who you got?
Well, I mean, they just matched up last week when we had last got together and had a conversation around it. I do feel like it's still for Embiid to lose. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Even in the game where the Nuggets won playing against the 76ers, Embiid had like 30 points, 32 points or something. You know, Joker had 22. And he was really off in the beginning of the game. He really kind of heated up the Joker towards the end for a couple of those shots. And let's be honest, Joker is one of the best, one of the greatest big man passers in the game today right now. He's got eyes all over the place. He's great at that. I think, but this is the key. I also believe that the MVP is a popularity contest.
It is. And,
you know,
and Embiid is more popular than Jokic.
Right now.
He will be forever.
I mean, and that's even with Jokic winning last year.
He has the personality.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. When you talk about popularity contests, not so much like, well, these stats. He's just, you know, he's one of those guys.
He's a new version of Shaq.
He's fun.
He's a new version.
He's fun.
But I'll tell you, I'm going with Jokic, man. Maybe a homer. If we talk about that game, yeah, he outscored Jokic. But in the end, Jokic ended up outplaying him. As far as team ball, getting others involved and things like that.
Yeah.
But speaking on Philly, everybody's saying that this trade with Harden has taken him over the top. Harden hasn't showed up in any of the big important games. Now, he might go put up 30 against Minnesota or somebody else like that, but when he played the Nuggets, he was off. He didn't do much.
What do you feel about Kyrie putting up 60 with 8 minutes and 30 seconds still left to go in the fourth? Like, he put that up. He put up 41 in the first half. So what do you feel about that? How does that?
I think Kyrie can do it any day, anytime he wants to. I just think.
But he only could play in home. I mean, he only playing away games.
Only playing away games. If you get to the playoffs and you play Toronto, you can't play any game. So,
how do you feel about Dallas right now? Because I think, you know, just watching that shootout they had with Brooklyn the other night, where they took like both teams took like last minute shots. I think what's his name? Number 77. What's his? Oh man, forgot the kid's name. But you know, he had made a shot with like less than 14 seconds. Then KD came down, hit a three, and then they came down again and was able to have Dallas win that game. Dallas is playing good basketball right now.
Dallas, with Dinwiddie, that was a good pickup for him.
Dinwiddie, that's right. He had the game winner, and he had 2 in a row. That was because he had another game winner previous game.
That was a good pickup for them. Dallas, Nuggets are right behind them, and Dallas is not letting up. So, Luka is one of the best to do it. TJ says Kyrie is Kobe at point guard. Unvaccinated gang.
Yeah, but one of the things, and that example that was brought up about Kobe, like Kobe hit 81 in a game. Phenomenal ability to score. But what Kyrie's doing that's making it so unique is he's doing it with so few shots. He's been so accurate. Like, he's not putting up 50 shots to get 80 and 50 shots to get 60.
He's pure, man.
This kid is like shooting like 60%. Like,
hey,
you know, he's over there.
What type of teammate are you, man, when it's like,
yeah, he's shooting 60-65%. I mean,
you could not play. You end up playing Toronto. You can't play.
Well, I mean, clearly, even if they moved into the playoffs, they're only going to be able to. He's only going to be effective through this year on home games. I mean, away games, and we know that with you being able to play at home is a huge opportunity for a team.
What do you think they strategically are trying to be like a lower seed so they can, if it comes to a game 7, that you can have a Kyrie and a Durant in a game 7 rather than being in Brooklyn where you don't have a Kyrie?
No, I don't think you would ever play to do anything other than to move up in seeding. And I do think that something else that is coming to question at this point is where the hell is Ben Simmons at?
I don't know, man. That's Team Light Skin right there, man. That's a question I should be asking you.
I ain't light skin. Man, like, comment, and share if you think me and you the same complexion, man. But I would say that at a certain point we gotta look. This is basketball. I mean, every one of them people in the NBA have been playing their whole life.
He said his back hurt, man.
Nah, from what?
I'm through with that guy.
What did he do to hurt his back?
I'm through with that guy. I'm through with it. I thought he was scared to go to Philly, and then now they come out with some new shit.
I mean, I really truly believe that the young man's confidence is rattled.
Oh, he's shot. That shit's shot.
And, I think that's but at the end of the day, I think they still had to have given up things and taken on his contract. He's going to have to play through it. And you might as well get him out now before the playoffs so you at least see what you're working with.
Hey, he's going to have to. He's going to have to.
This is the thing is that he was most effective on defense.
Yeah, and
you could come out and make an immediate impact in rebounds and in defense immediately without even having to shoot right now. He's got he's got the best excuse running right now. I'd be like, oh man, I didn't want to interrupt with what Durant was doing. Kyrie was on fire. I was just trying to chill. He got the best excuse in basketball. He could just come in and rebound and lock up.
And they say, when KD's on his game is when he don't comb his hair. Ashes his ankle. The little beard, is, he's letting the little beard shit grow.
Okay, then he's on fire right now because he's out there looking.
Hey, I mean, Ben Simmons has to come back, but I think KD and Kyrie can do it, but I just think, man, this is fucked up for the Nets. Like,
hold on, so wait, real quick, when you said that, you said when KD looked like Gator from Jungle Fever. That's when they on.
That's when he's on.
Because I'm a
crackhead. Hey,
I'll do it. I'll snap his neck.
Hey, that boy's on, man. I mean, it's big things. I just think that Kyrie is just letting down his team, man.
They've made concessions for that. So at this point, we have to, as fans and of the NBA itself, we have to just say, look, the NBA is like, hey, we have a happy medium. He can't play at home games, and that's
not really the NBA though. A state of New York, a city.
But what I'm saying, the NBA is actually okay with that. They would be like, no, we can't have you playing at all. They could do something like that if they wanted to.
They can't supersede. They can say you can't play, but I mean,
if it's in the interest of public health, they could. If they're like, hey, if Kyrie is a risk running around here in away games,
no, but you can come. Unvaccinated players from other teams can play in Brooklyn.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
but why not Kyrie?
He can come to the game. He can sit on the bench. Like,
I might need some more insight on that. So you telling me that other unvaccinated players can play in New York, but he just can't?
Yeah.
Nah, I need to get a little bit more information on that. So I don't want to misspeak. So there might be somebody here like, I'm a fan. That's not true. I would like to hear more.
We like y'all to like, share, comment, repeat, and retweet, and do it again.
I definitely have some.
Our network, we're not just for the people, we are the people. You know what I'm saying?
Big
so
facts.
I'm telling you, I think that's what I heard. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard.
All right, what about Seth Curry right now?
Seth Curry's hurt.
Does that play a factor in the chances of Golden State being able to get a title this year? Because that's basically what I've been hearing from them, and of course from them, but I mean from you're hearing the sentiments around the league that Golden State with having your boy from Michigan State, what's his name? Draymond back, is that they're in contention to win a title.
They are.
Does this impact that for them?
Nah.
It's light work?
Yeah, it's good, man. End of the season. It's probably set like this so Curry can get him a break at the end of the season. He been playing hard. It's probably kind of set. We gonna rest him up. We gonna rest him up, get him ready for the playoffs. We gonna let Clay get a little bit more acclimated, and come playoff time, they're gonna be the Warriors again somehow. Iguodala's gonna be back. And
how old is Iguodala? He's been playing since.
He gotta be damn near my age. Goddamn, the Nuggets just lost to Cleveland in OT 116.
Cleveland is a dangerous team, though.
Cleveland's pretty good this year.
Man, they defensive. They are. Man, them towers, they be out there balling, and they play scrappy on defense.
TJ says Kyrie said a little too much, man. Good night's on point. Right on, TJ. That's what I'm talking about. I just think Kyrie is going to end up letting his team down. Like, if you don't do it for yourself, man, do it for your team at least. Let's win this chip.
Okay, so how about this? Going forward, as of the trade, who is impacting the team more right now, Kyrie or Ben Simmons?
Harden or Ben Simmons? Or Kyrie and Ben Simmons?
Kyrie or Ben Simmons?
Kyrie.
Why?
Because he's doing something. Ben Simmons doing nothing.
So I feel like then wouldn't it be Ben Simmons that's impacting his team more?
They've never had him.
Yeah, but they had to give up something to get him.
They did give up something, a problem. Another guy, a person who doesn't show up in big games, in big time.
So I think that's a question in itself where it's like, all right, cool, but I think with them having because look, they have what's the other Curry? Seth Curry, and he's a shooter. You got Kyrie, he's a shooter. You got Kevin Garnett, Kevin Durant, who's probably arguably one of the best shooters, in the game. The only issue that you would really see standing out right now is them being able to really lock up in defense and have, I think not just rebounds, but offensive rebounds, getting second shots. That's Ben Simmons. Kyrie I wouldn't even consider, like, Kyrie is showing you, he can get it whatever. Like, he could have had 70 points in that game. Yeah. And that wasn't a hard 70. That wasn't even a hard 60. He literally only missed like 5 shots.
Hey, he is a natural scorer. Like,
you have nothing for Kyrie. But the problem that he's had, and this is what's unfortunate about him, and he's not one of the 75 greats. That's, something that you'll be like, how is he not? And he's one of the best scorers in the league. It's because he's been injured so much.
He's staying injured.
He's just not been able to finish out a lot of these highly touted seasons that he has. But when he's healthy, he's a nightmare. You want no parts of him.
No, you don't. You know, who would want that?
I'm falling out. I'm not checking him out. I'm falling out. I'm be out of there in the first quarter. I'm out of there.
You got to try to put some D on him.
I am,
but he's letting his team out though. I'm just telling you, he's letting his team down, man. Go get vaccinated, man. I think Brooklyn can go ahead and win this thing without Ben Simmons.
I think Ben Simmons would add the most value at this point because even without Kyrie, it has been shown that most teams that have had Kyrie since Cleveland has been basically showing you that they play better without him being there, unfortunately. And I think, ultimately I don't see much of that changing. He put up that against the Magic. And I think at a certain point, they're just not even the Magic hasn't been a real NBA team in like.
McGrady left?
15 years? 20 years? I don't think they've been a real team in 15, 20 years.
They had Jameer Nelson and them down there for a minute.
You just go there.
Probably about 15 years ago, though.
Like, you literally go to Orlando just to pad your stats. Like, I need to get my rebounds up. I need to get my 3-point accuracy up. I need to get all my stats up. You go to or have them come see you, or you play them. They haven't been a factor since.
What you think about the Lakers?
Lakers
is a wrap, done deal.
Yeah, I do. Even if they made it in the playoffs, I just don't really see them. And this is the thing, and this is what's unfortunate is that because when what's his name who came back, their big man, Anthony. When he came back, their big man for the Lakers,
Anthony Davis.
Yeah, Anthony Davis. He got injured again, and I don't really know if he is.
The only reason why they won the championship, the bubble championship, because he had 3 months off to take a break to where he wouldn't be injured, or else
I don't think he would be able to come back this season 100%.
Lakers are done,
and we've clearly shown that LeBron is still one of the greatest players, and if not the best player ever. And he can't do enough.
He can't will him to a victory.
He can't do enough.
They lacking. Westbrook got to go, but they owe him $47 million next year.
Shout out for saying Westbrook instead of Westbrook.
I mean, I'm not going.
You're a mature dude.
I'm not going to
shows your
like
maturity,
that,
man.
He's not on my team. If he's on my team, I might call him.
Did you just see what the Dallas? Who was they playing? With Robert Towns,
Carl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, Carl Anthony Towns. Yeah, Minnesota, where they was clowning. He took a 3, and he started looking up in the sky like, man, where'd that come from? And then they was just playing like he was scared of the brick and all that. They clowning, and it's like, let's just be easy, Minnesota. Y'all have never been a contender.
Shouts out to Shouts out to Westbrook though, man. But I seen your one of your sweaters or whatever you call it the other day in one of your interviews. Shit gotta go, man. Hey, we're going to get to the second half. We're going to get to the second half real quick. It's going to be a quick second half, man. We got some serious topics talking about a little local stuff out here in Colorado.
Oof.
And who you should have around your kids, or how do you vet that? But here on the AHRR Network, we like you to share, comment, repeat, retweet, and do it all again. We're going to take a quick break. Here's a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
It's been said that power waits for the one who earns it, the one who turns the situation around when their inner voice is sound. How will you earn your power? With words, or with silence and in life, or in death and violence? Then how will you use it? Will you confuse it and think anger is the only way to belong? Or will you abuse it and let pain make you forget right from wrong? Will that make you feel strong? Do you have the power to turn the situation around at the sound of your inner voice? You can pick up the sticks or you can grab the stick. How will you handle that choice? How do you want your story to end? Are these really your friends? Will this be fun? And do they have a gun? Will you be forced to use your power for what's right or to run? Will you look back on the time and wish you could rewind that last second, minute, hour? Make the choice to listen to your inner voice. How will you earn your power?
Welcome back to the second half, man. Hey. Do the math and make it count. Quick word from my sponsor. That was a quick word from my sponsors. The Power of One. They're doing all kind of big things in the community. Shouts out to the AHRR Network. Like we say, we're not just for the people. We are the people. So, dang, man, we got a serious little topic going around locally out here in the Denver area, man. You got a guy, guy by the name, I don't even like to say his name
it's
like
tough
that.
It's tough to throw it out there, right?
Mean, you got a guy.
But and I will say this before you actually put it out there. It's important that we have adults who are in trusted positions around our children, and most of us are parents, fathers, of course, you and I both are. And normally, especially when it is alleged, because we haven't said that this is what actually happened or took place, so we definitely want to preface it by saying that it is alleged. But you do have those concerns because this is people that you've grown up with. Some people have in the community have gone to school with this particular person, and I've even worked with him. But I still think it's important that we are able to have these discussions because it is our first responsibility to protect and take care of the kids, and that does come at the cost of sometimes even our friendships or our associations with adults because they are supposed to keep themselves in the highest light possible when it's dealing with our children. So in that light, go ahead. You can say what it is.
I mean, we got a former coach, former I believe administrator in the Green Valley Youth
Volunteer
organization, constantly volunteering. A guy named by the name of Darnell Ward, who I actually played Little League football with the Pirates back in the day, has been accused of child exploitation.
Child exploitation, and extradited from Arizona back to Colorado. And for any of you guys who have been on social media over the last 24 hours, we've seen the story running. It is alleged that this is something that took place, but we also have to take into consideration when they do extradite you back from a state or bring you back to the original location of where these transgressions took place. It's important that we are concerned about the validity of such an issue. And I heard a lot of stuff online, again alleged, about his contact and interaction in the community. I would love to come back on here and say there's been more information that supports that that was not the case, but in this particular situation that is what has been alleged. And it's concerning, and we definitely want to make sure that we are not just, if we see something, say something, and this comes with it. And I only say that because I seen people in the comment section who were saying something like, yeah, he's been a problem, and I've had issues with him. Women in the community saying this, and I haven't felt comfortable, and there were certain things that came up. Well, I think that we do hold a certain responsibility that if you see something, say something. These are your children. These are our children. And I think regardless of what that looks like, if you see something, say something. Because most of the time, and again, this is not for him specifically, but in general, when we have people who do not mean right for our children, they usually put themselves in positions when they're always around our children. So they are the volunteers, they are coaches, they are in the staff, they are the ones who are the closest to our kids. And when we're dropping our kids off or they're at practices, or they're at these games every weekend, or they're with these schools every night, there's a higher risk that we have to be that we have to be accountable for. And I mean, I just think that this is part of it, and I think it just brings light to a situation that, again, without it getting too controversial, because again, these are alleged allegations for this particular person, Mr. Ward. But if you see something, say something.
I mean, definitely, if you see something, say something. But it's probably been a problem in our community, to where we're trained not to say anything. Where it is a snitches get stitches type of thing, or you don't want to be the person to try to say something and then you're totally false on it. But you also don't want, on the other side, you don't want to be the person that sees something, doesn't say anything, and what you thought you seen, you saw.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you guys this. I know people have a lot of issues with Karens because, usually they're coming in to kind of like give you a hard time. We had last week, we talked about the potential of a Keisha. Again, nothing on any of our Keishas. Somebody pop on there. But I think those are, when do we get to that point where we're saying, hey, we see something and we say something, and it's not something that we always are coming on. Like, I think people be acting like they live such, dangerous and criminalistic lifestyles. That's like, yeah, I can't ever say anything. Most of us are people of high moral standards. in our community. You just not saying nothing because they telling you that on a T-shirt or they telling you that, you know, from some rap song. But if there was something that impacted your community and something happened with your children or something's happening to the women of our community and you're like, yeah, well, I ain't no snitch, then you're not really for our community.
No, I mean, I'm with you in agreement, but I mean, like you say, usually people like who do these type of things usually put themselves in positions of trust.
Yeah.
And when do you know when to fully trust a person?
You don't. I don't trust nobody around my kids. I don't look, everybody who's ever been around my kid, I don't 100% trust you. That doesn't mean that I don't mostly trust you. I don't fully trust nobody around my kids.
I mean, and I'm with you. But there's people around your kids that you've never even seen and never met.
For sure.
As far as teachers, as far as other people who are in trusted positions, kids who could be giving off bad vibes and bad thoughts.
For sure.
A little bit older kids that be around who tend to, kids seem to follow older kids. But
we're not even really addressing like even online now, right? Because I mean, our kids are plugged in, and so you take into consideration there's a comment section in a lot of the apps and connections that they have. There's predators online, right? And that's what I'm saying. I don't think no parent should 100% trust nobody around their kids.
I mean, I'm in agreement. But I mean, just how do you this guy, just to say for this instance, this guy is in the community. He's doing things in the community. He's been in the community for a while.
For sure.
Doing things. He's the guy that, hey, I'll volunteer. I'll take score at the game.
I bet.
I mean,
for sure.
I mean, like, this guy looks like a good guy. I mean, these people usually have this persona where they're great. Like, they're the last people that you think that would do it. And
I don't know, man. It's like, you know, sometimes I don't know. Call me weird. I'm a what is it called? Dad, daughter, or daughter, dad, or, you know, whatever it is. You know, so I have nothing but daughters, so I'm always a little bit more leery. But there's certain things like the yo gabba gabba dude, like, you know, there's just somebody who just, you know, when you do too much stuff for the kids, you already got my attention when you're a grown man anyway. And I mean, I know, and look, I'm sorry, because somebody's going to be out there like, I do this and I love the kids. I know you do. I just don't fully trust you.
I
don't fully trust you. I know you do things for the kids, but I ain't never too far. And when I say see something, say something, I don't just mean it for the adults around them. It's with your kids as well too. You have to create open lines of communications with your kids where they feel comfortable enough to even talk to you about these things.
Definitely.
These are, you know, when you talk about predators, and again, we're not saying for one particular person, we're talking about predators in general. They are looking for weak links. They're looking for, you know, women and young people who are in homes that have, you know, that don't have communication. They're looking for homes that, you know, are broken, and, you know, these are how they do it. Even when we were younger, and I mean, I hate to admit when I get older and stuff, when you was initially dating and, you know, trying to understand, you know, women and how you were to communicate with them, you tended to be able to get further with girls who had homes that had a little bit looser guidelines, you know. You know, when she had a tough dad, a tough mom, you know, when she had curfews that they checked up on, and those are the ones that you just really couldn't get everything off on and stuff. And so, you know, when you become older, you realize how important that is. Even though that girl was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to, you know, get away from all the shenanigans, she was supported and protected at a certain point. Felt comfortable enough, if anything, at least to talk about it. Right, where they can go into it and bring that up and say, hey, you know, I'm not saying anything happened. I just didn't feel comfortable about a certain person or an individual. And then that's for us as parents to really get involved and make sure that we have proper vetting opportunities available when that comes up. Because at the end of the day, these are usually happening to people or persons who are less than are supporting. and they are not protected. And I think that's our job. And so, yeah, sometimes you could be accused of something. You have to really understand and accept that, yeah, it's somebody as a concerned parent who has some concerns or questions, and you should be open to answer those and follow through on it when you're dealing with somebody else's kid. You can't go into it and be like, hey, look, I just had some questions or some concerns. I had a conversation with my son or my daughter. They feel a certain kind of way. I would like to know a little bit more about your practices. What are times that you're with the kids alone? What are certain things? Who else coaches with you? Who else volunteers with you? Have some more of those. I'd like to have contact numbers. I would like to see, more information. And as a parent, or at least a person who is either supported or volunteering our young people, you should be very open to that. And if you got tight about that, you're going to fall right back in the I don't trust you list again. What you mean, man?
Hey, Damo, can you put up the comments again real quick?
I'm going to be mad.
Huh?
I'm just going to say I'm going to have some concerns around it. If you're not willing to have that and you dealing with somebody else's cargo, that's like, you click on that little button for Amazon and stuff. You want to track your package, man. I'm trying to track this is my package. I'm trying to track it. I want to make sure I can see where it's at. I order a pizza. I want to be able to click back on there, and I want to see where it's at. I order DoorDash. I want to know, is it coming down the street? If I do Uber, I want to be able to look on the site and be able to see the car turning around in the wrong neighborhood or coming back up the street. We need to see that transparency, and that includes with our kids, too. We don't have to put a chip in them, but you should be able to give us that.
I mean, TJ says this is why we need fathers back in the home. And you're right. When people see vulnerabilities, they tend to go a little further.
Right? It's the kid always walking home with nobody supporting them. Instead of us being parents to go out there and be like, hey, I just stick my head out the window. Remember when your auntie or your mom or your grandma used to sit out on the porch and be watching all the kids play. As soon as something happened, they knew who threw the rock. They knew who it was. That was little Travis over there. He threw it.
Yeah.
Something going on up there.
So Jason McBride says this has been alleged to have happened for decades. I agree with a certain level of accountability that the community has to accept. We all should have done something.
Period. I just don't think when you hear and see that, then everybody comes in. And again, I'm not saying that, these are bad people or bad women because of it. But what I'm saying is that there has to be a certain point where we have to be accountable, where it's not like you wait till it happens and then post in a comment like, yeah, I always knew something was up to that. You should be talking like that at the volunteering spot. Like, hey, look, real quick, I know this guy said he was going to volunteer. I overheard him saying that. But, it's a situation with my little niece a couple summers ago. We ain't feel comfortable. I want to put it out there. You don't say something or you're not doing something, I'll bring it up to the next person involved or the next, official or person who's supporting that league or whatever's going on, and just make it hot. Blow up the spot. Man, start telling, man. Listen, I'm so over that, man, and I take nothing away from it. But look, man, ain't nobody even really, them crack days is over.
How often do you see something and say something?
I'm a snitch, man. Don't do shit around me. Look, I'm a parent. I'm a snitch. I'll just say this is what you need to be. You need to be a snitch with hands, man. You got to be able to say, hey, look, this is outside my control. I want to tell the right. And I'm going to call it snitching so that everybody going to chime on here and get mad about it and stuff. But, when we're not talking about, anti.
All right, I'm just saying. So what levels? What level? You see a guy speeding? Are you calling the police? What level?
I'm that dude. I'm that neighbor. Like, I hate to be like, and I'm just telling y'all now, I do step out and I walk out with my hands up when somebody coming in. When they coming in the neighborhood too fast, I walk out to the street with my hands up like, yo, I've slowed cars down. I have those kind of conversations. I have neighborhood kids, stop throwing rocks, picking up rocks, put them back where they have them. I tell people to go pick up their poop if they doing it, not just in my yard. If I see their dog drop a deuce in anybody's yard, I'm going to say something on it. I'm lightweight like that, man.
So you would get off the my line, guy.
I don't really have an issue with you walking past on my grass or something like that, but if it's something that brings down the property value in my neighborhood, yeah, I'm active like that. I will say something. I've several times, because my house is literally 5 houses from elementary school. I got kids who play literally in the street, right? And so when people sometimes hit that seam, they'll, just floor it, and they be doing like 40 coming up a street that technically is only for like 15, 20 miles an hour. And everybody like, well, I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to. And then somebody kid get hit, and then he be the same one in the comments like, that car was always speeding around the neighborhood. Get your weight up, man. All right, look, these Karens have no problem telling because of a certain value that they feel about their neighborhood, their parks, their buildings, their all that. And we always be like, man, mind your own business, mind your own business, mind your own business. That work until it don't work. And then everybody be like, well, how'd this happen? You can't just be having people who are running through your neighborhoods, running amok, your communities, your schools, your children, your practices, and just doing whatever they want with this I'm not telling and snitching stuff. Like, that's for the birds. Most of y'all don't sell drugs. Most of y'all don't. Most of y'all are the good people with high values and morals.
Well, I mean, are you just assuming that people have high values and morals?
Yeah, I
think you just assume.
I have to. You have to.
Just because a person doesn't commit crimes doesn't mean they have high value or morals.
Yeah, but I mean, so then are they good for your community?
No.
What is a person of low standards and values good for in your community?
But they're good for whatever they do in the community. As long as they're not doing any... I mean, a person with low values and standards can sit in their house all day and...
Yeah, but they don't. They be the ones online in the comment sections with the no profile picture or the picture they pet. Anytime I see somebody with like a picture of a flag or they pet as a profile picture, I know you a troll. You about to do something. You about to say or do something ridiculous. They trolling in the house. People of high standards and value are good online in the community and around us. And when we allow them to sit in our communities like, well, they just ain't did nothing yet. They just don't do nothing if something happens. You worse than somebody who do it, because there's people who have real mental issues, right, that have not been checked on or solved, and you could be somebody with great mental capabilities, and you sat and watched something happen because your values and morals are so low. That person may not understand what they're doing. You really did. It was just like, yeah, well, they didn't do it to me. It's not my problem. It's not my community. It's like when you see somebody like throw trash on the ground. It's like you can't. Does that play a factor for you?
When I see somebody throw trash on the ground in my neighborhood,
like somebody driving by and they throw their old Taco Bell out the window, you be like, nah, that's not my problem.
If it's in my yard or close to my street, I'm gonna pick it up and it's my problem. I mean, am I gonna take down his license plates and say this guy's littering? Probably not.
No, I mean, I don't know if that's the case, right? I don't know if we can.
No, but I'm not.
I get what you're saying.
I'm not gonna say this guy's coming around here littering.
But like, let's just say
I can say okay, this is definitely an issue. But am I gonna take that issue personally? Probably not.
I mean, I get it, and I mean, and maybe this is where some people, if they have an opinion on it, but if we don't value ourselves, if we don't value our communities, if we don't value our women, if we don't value our relationships, we don't value our kids, then I just don't understand. And what are we doing? And I hate to come on here and be that kind of square dude, but I mean, there's already enough stuff that's trying to take us out anyway. You could be doing everything right, get cancer, and then what happened?
And it's a wrap.
Right? And it's like, okay, but what do you do? Well, I just minded my business the whole time. Like, man, what is that?
There's people that never smoked a cigarette and they die of lung cancer.
Lung cancer.
I mean, there's
stuff that's already working to take us off the map.
There's all kind of things that happen.
So I just think
I care about the community. I mean, I care about things that go on, but there's certain things that are not gonna trigger me into a point to where I'm gonna comment about everything. Now, if there's a weirdo, specifically, there's a weirdo that goes around my neighborhood and just takes pictures of people driving by.
Let's say you do. Let's say that guy come out and he did nothing. What you do?
I did walk up on that guy.
Okay.
And trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
What's up, right?
Yeah, ain't gonna be taking pictures of me or nobody around me.
But what if he says to you in that statement, and I don't mean to cut you off, so I apologize, but what if he just like, man, you seem like a Ken or Karen, mind your business.
He can call it what he wants, but he started off not minding his business. Like, why are you have your camera out taking pictures of me?
I mean, it's protected technically
of everybody. So I roll up to him. I can see the guy has some mental issues. The guy is mentally messed up. Like you don't know who's following me. The police told me who to.
But do you see what I'm saying? It's important to know that, right?
Yeah, it's important to know
somebody
that.
would have.
I mean, there's people down the street, that I warned. Like, hey, there's this guy in his car who's driving around. At that point, I felt that it was my time to say something to people. That was my time to say something. But did I go to the police? I didn't go to the police. But
would you take a picture of him?
Huh?
Would you take a
picture of his license plate?
Well, so technically, I'll take a picture of him and his license plate. I mean, but this is the thing though. If imagine like the girl whose parents was always in their business, the parent who was always like curfew, the dad who was always in the mix, it lowered the opportunity that we have for predators to just do what they wanted. And I think that's the same way we have to treat our everything.
I mean, and you do, but my question is like, okay, now people are saying that this certain situation has happened, and they seen signs, but obviously the signs weren't that much for somebody to say something.
But that's the part that bothers me, is because everybody is getting into this space
culturally thing. As you think that's a culture thing to where.
I just don't think that the rules have been defined about this whole snitching thing. I just think that there's a blanket on it where it's like, clearly there is antisocial behavior that's taking place that's being done by people in our community that don't mean well for our community. It's like, man, you don't want to tell on this dude, because even if, let's just say, he's the biggest dope dealer in the neighborhood, right? And you'd be like, well, he gives out turkeys, he do all this stuff at the end of the year, he's really a good dude. He killing your auntie. He killing your uncle. He killing the people in your community.
Is he?
I mean, at the end of the day,
is he, or are they doing that to themselves?
Let them leave the community to go get it. Let them not get it in the community.
They brought it to the community.
Yeah, but then let them do that. But when you know that you have somebody clearly working in your community that's doing it, they bullies. You don't think they bullying your children? You don't think that they having these people put in situations where they can cost them, if not anything other than their life, of course, but their freedom? They're not like it sounds good on paper when we say like, hey, these bad guys in our community are really for the community. But I'm having trouble seeing that consistently. I don't see them showing up. Like, I didn't see no set show up for the riots when it came downtown. There wasn't no set that came out there like, we're protecting our community.
But now you're talking about community, so-called community organizations or things like. I'm saying on a personal level, like,
that's fair.
On an
individual basis.
Yeah.
That I still think that ultimately it is our job, and I think with us being men, first and foremost, and then in our community, you should be able to say something about it. And if you don't and look, at the end of the day, this is the problem. It's not like everything that I bring to you is because I want to like fight you.
Yeah.
That I want to have like some kind of like we got to get into gun violence or something. It's I'm bringing up a situation that's important to me, and if you care about your community that the same way, I feel like we could have an amicable resolve for this, right? But if it's people who don't care about the community. And I know it comes off as just like we're talking about like, gangs or something that's antisocial. I just think in general, like you said, it was somebody who's mentally disturbed, right? Yeah. And you took the time to figure that out, right? And so now you are able to have this conversation with other people in the community to say, hey, hey, this guy, he seemed like he was a little off. He was taking pictures. I have his license plate. I have his name. I got a picture of him. If there's anything you see or hear about it, at least we have some additional information. That the neighbor come back down the street or somebody else come back and say, hey, look, he did something too.
But you said, and that's cool. That'll get the ball rolling. But my thing is like, you know what? I'm not going to call the police. And maybe I'm wrong for that. Or maybe I'm wrong. But I'm like, hey. He's sitting in front of people's houses. I catch him sitting in front of people's houses, doing the same type of thing, just sitting in the alley, just doing weird things. I'm like, somebody else is gonna call him, for sure.
I think the neighborhoods in areas that need the most police support are areas in neighborhoods who have the least amount of community support. And I think that the what you said by saying, "Hey, look, I ain't gonna call the police." We technically shouldn't have to, but for rare instances that you are basically not trying to make a life or death situation or make that life or death decision on your own. But technically, when it comes to just the community itself, we should be more visible. We should be more vocal, and we should have more interaction with each other and on all of this.
And that's hands down. And that's hands down. I mean, and that's the way our communities were structured back in the day. To where it took a village to raise people, to where you knew that your neighbor 2 houses down were not gonna let your children act a goddamn fool.
We ain't had no phones. We ain't had no cell phones. You left the house, you was naked until you came back home. Could you imagine that?
Oh yeah, shit. If you didn't have your little quarter or 50 cent, to get on to either get on the bus or use a payphone, shit, you gonna be walking. I mean,
not to mention our parents. Our moms would be on the phone. You try to call in, they be on another line. It'd be like we had to walk in groups. Like when you walked home with a group of kids, even if they weren't your best friend, y'all was from the same neighborhood or street, and so y'all had to walk together, and y'all would walk from there, and that's what ended up making quote unquote gangs or these groups, was because y'all would be walking as that group to have to walk home. Y'all, it just was what it was. We had support from the lady at the top of the street. Well, she gonna let you know, but she gonna be like, "Hey, this is what's going on," or I got them, or whatever's happening.
Like the lady from Living Color, know everything was going down.
Yeah, I ain't the one to gossip, but hey, look, this is what happened, right?
Hey, but my thing is, all right, before we get up out of here, is like, okay, we got. How do you watch these so-called people that are in the community though? Like the people that are so-called helping these kids or there for these kids that have been around kids and things like that, who have obviously found ways to mask what they're doing and mask it very well to people where people can't see it from the naked eye.
I have a theory. I just thought of it, but I got a theory. I think our children, because we kind of got on a tangent, but I think bringing it back to our children in general, I think they should be watched like people in a casino. It should be that level of, walk with me on this. You have a person that's in the casino. You have the person who's playing the game, or they're on the table or whatever. You have that particular pit boss who's watching them. You have somebody who's watching the pit boss, and then you have somebody who's watching the people who watch the pit boss, and then you have the cameras that see all of that. We are basically saying that there has to be a checks and balance in place for anything that supports children in our community. Nobody gets to do it on their own. If it's one coach, we can't have you. You need a coach that has a coach that's watching that coach in a union or a league that watches that team, and then a oversight that watches that league and how their transgressions are and how consistent they are. If you have a bunch of fines or you have a bunch of issues that are coming up, then you continue to watch them. But I think that should be that. So there should be some checks and balance that nobody does it on their own. I don't care what it look like. You can't be coaching or training and doing any of this stuff on your own.
I'm with you. Like, I've coached kids, and I don't like being like, I don't even like that.
Some of y'all kids is bad as hell too, though, and I need to have somebody there that actually shows that. So when I send them home forever, because I don't want them nowhere near us, but then you wouldn't like. But what I'm saying is that you need to have at least then there's somebody else there so that the kid doesn't just get one style of training either. And I say that because maybe how I coach might not reach your son or daughter, right? You as a coach, you have a different approach. We then have somebody that oversees our coaching techniques and gives us, they got to be reviewed. They have to be rated. They have to be something on it. I think a lot of stuff is just done by a buddy system, but at least these kids are.
Most of it is, and definitely everything needs to be overseen, especially when you're dealing with kids and kids out with adults or people in trust. So there definitely does need to be checks and balances. There definitely need to be some things that go on to where, hey, I might not be at every single practice, but we're all at practice as parents to where, okay, today's your day. You watch everything what's
That's
going
right.
on, and you check back and report within
That's
us
right.
and fill it out. So I mean, if you're gonna do it that type of way, if you're gonna do it, there has to be self accountability
For
to
sure.
where you're around and you create this team or whatever. And if you don't want to create the team, then you're just there all times just watching. Like I've been and watched a lot of practices with my kids. A lot of times I've sat there, and if I felt things were going wrong, then I would say something. I'm not the type of person that's gonna say something in the middle of your practice or anything like
For
that.
sure.
But I'll tell you after practice how I feel. But definitely in our community, I feel you that we need to be more accountable. We need to be more self-aware, and we need to be more aware of our surroundings and what's going on.
If you
And
see something, say something. At the end of the day, if we keep and continue to have the checks and balances on our communities, they're not going to feel comfortable taking advantage of our kids.
and
That's
a
all
fact.
we can be held accountable for. Is like take it down the street. Now we're not saying that we champion them doing it to other kids at all, right? But we gotta at least say there's got to be a standard set. Like, oh man, nah, in those communities it's tough. They all talking, they all telling, they all are supportive of each other. We might as well take it down the street.
I mean, and our communities used to be that way, and they definitely used to be that way. And and it was a matter of actually self-policing. And somebody got out of line, they gonna get whacked one way or another. I'm a firm believer in
Whacking.
I'm a firm believer in policing yourself. I'm
Hey man, listen. I don't. As long as we create or leave that loophole or that gap in the communication and accountability of our children, there's always going to be one, and it may be one today that may get a little highlight for an alleged issue that took place, but it can be something that's not alleged tomorrow, and it could be something that's happening right now. And until we always start getting into these spaces, or we see something and say something, and then you as whatever you are in the community, when you're dealing with kids, you have to understand that you at any point can be held accountable to some of these concerns that the community or parent might have. And they might be false. Like, come out the jail, you got to have paperwork. Now, if you can't say that there's something that happened or something that you are saying that's going on, we got to get to a place where we move on from that. But I definitely want to be able to say, hey, I'm transparent and being able to say that this is my practices. This is the things that I've set up as checks and balances. And that's why your kids should come play for us, or that's why your kids should be supported in our league. But if that's not the case, then no, I don't think the league should be around. If these kids ain't supported and they can't be protected, it ain't worth it.
Definitely, and I believe everybody right now is taking action and doing their things and going through all their checks and balances. But as far as you say, before we get up out of here, I just want to say one thing. Right on for coming.
Appreciate you.
Shouts out to my boy Robbie the Rocket. Living Decent, Carl Robinson.
Do this thing.
Go copy one. Go copy a fit or two.
And go link up with him tonight. He's going to be somewhere, I'm sure.
And as far as the snitching, snitching comes when, if we're both committing a crime knowingly, and I get caught, and then
tell on me.
I go tell on you.
That's snitching.
I think that's the snitching, or and that's where, like, if we going into it, we already had some type of non-formal or we had an agreement that, hey, you wasn't gonna tell on you, wasn't gonna tell on me. Hey, I get away, you get caught. And I know it's hard for people to do that time, but
G-code is trash. Look, if y'all on that, sign a contract, man. I follow contracts. Like, if you really about something with me and you feel a certain kind of way where you want to go into something with me, I only want to do business with people that we can have contracts on. Well, I don't want no word of mouth.
Well, that's business and paperwork. But as far as
then I'm too old. Then
and I'm just saying that's business and paperwork.
Yeah, I'm too old.
I'm explaining like
what it is,
what the snitching is, as far as telling, as far as speaking on what's right and doing what's right by the people and for the people. Then that's not really a snitching type of thing. But I say snitching is more like a criminal type of thing.
Like, I remember people used to think getting a buddy pass was a vacation. That's not a vacation to me no more. I need to be already have a ticket. I need an itinerary Just like I don't believe snitching is, I don't do it anything I don't try to make money with people I can't get that we ain't gonna be in contract with.
Well, and that's
So if you set up with some dude that y'all had a DAP that y'all done had that created you all having some kind of a money making opportunity or venture, and it was all fortified on a DAP. I'm getting too, but that's what it is. Though when you think about it,
ain't gonna work.
It ain't, but that's what it is. That you have some kind of nonverbal agreement or a perceived agreement, even when you're doing, antisocial things and interacting in antisocial ways, you'll have this nonverbal agreement that like, hey man, if something go down, don't tell, don't da. Man, listen, let me out.
I mean, why if we doing something, why would I tell on you?
Cause you ain't got no contract.
No, if we doing something illegally, why would I tell on you?
Cause you want to go home, man.
And that's not gonna guarantee me to go home.
Listen, at the end of the day,
there's
no value in snitching if there's no value in snitching.
That's not a guarantee to go home. That's a guarantee to get another person off the street.
I mean, but that's what they're gonna do though. I'm like, hey man, look, you want to go home? Yeah. Well, what's up?
Well, yeah, that's what they're gonna say. And then they're gonna lock you. I've seen too many on the first 48. I've seen too many on the first 48 who thought they was gonna go home.
But that's why I keep telling you.
Just tell me this story, and next thing you know, you're locked up.
The contract, and the ones who really about that snitching life, are they telling? Like you'll be like, I ain't gonna tell on you, but like if it's really something that the DA or that the whatever enforcement agency that you're working with is they're gonna put it on paper.
Yeah, they're
gonna put it on paper, right?
Put it on paper.
That's a contract.
They gonna put it on paper.
So,
but if you
ain't snitching if it's a contract.
If you ain't saying nothing, you ain't nothing to write down.
If the police,
if I do a crime with somebody, I'm gonna do my time, regardless. I'm not gonna tell on the people. I'm not gonna tell on the other people.
Then this is what I believe in, and I'm just gonna say this. Look, if you are willing to do the time all by yourself, then do the crime all by yourself.
I'm willing to do my time.
But I'm just saying, look, you see what I'm saying? Hey, y'all can comment on that.
Hey, some crimes need more than one person, but you know what? It's getting kind of late here on a Friday night. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate. Listen again. I thank you. I appreciate us being able to have a chance to talk about community stuff because that's just as important as the sports. I'm honored that anytime I can come over here and be able to add my opinion, even though I'm all old and over the hill, but I still appreciate being able to come and talk and bring up relevant issues for not just sports, because I think we all appreciate that, but just, things for the community as well, too, because that's what makes us better, right? And so, I don't have no cool handshake or dap for you on that one, but I appreciate it as always, man. It's been a pleasure being here tonight.
Hey, right on for sliding through. And that's it for Game Point. We out. Have a fantastic Friday. And stay out the way, man. Don't be riding with Seabo, man.
Don't even come by.
Don't ride with Seabo, man. He
contract trumps everything.
He gonna pull it.
Hey, you trying to make money with me? Give me a contract.
He gonna give me a government. You run out the
Don't
car.
Even tell me your name. You could be Agent Pink. I don't care who you are.
I'll just play.
I ain't even gonna press you.
Seabo's a thorough
wherever
dude,
you want to be.
He's a thorough dude. But we gonna get up out of here, man.
All right, you guys.
Like, share, comment, repeat, retweet, and do it again. Like we say at the AHRR Network, we're not just for the people, we are the people. And we out.
Boom.